My best friend tried to sabotage my marriage and I still don't know why. I met Sarah when I was 11 years old. My family had just moved to a new country and my sister-in-law introduced us. We became inseparable almost overnight. She was the first person I truly trusted in a place where everything felt foreign. We went through middle school together, high school, college, all of it. By the time we hit our 20s, we were the kind of friends who could go weeks without talking and then pick up right where we left off. She was at my wedding. She held my hand when I gave birth to my son. I thought we were unbreakable. I married my husband when I was 27. We'd been together for 4 years before that, and I knew him since I was 11 too. He was my sister-in-law's brother, so he was always around. He's the calmest person I've ever met. Never raises his voice, never lies, never gives me a reason to doubt him. We have a 2-year-old son, a modest house, and a life that felt boring in the best possible way. I work in an office from 9 to 2 most days. My husband runs his own business about a 5-minute walk from my building. On my 30-minute lunch break, I'd usually grab a second breakfast and either meet him at his office or sit at a cafe nearby. Sometimes I had to travel for work to another city for a day or two. I'd always mention it to Sarah in passing, just casual conversation. Last week I had a work trip scheduled for Wednesday, but Tuesday night a red weather alert came through, severe flooding expected. My work trip was canceled and I stayed home with my son. My husband left at 6 in the morning to secure his shop with flood barriers, and by 7:30 he was back home making breakfast. It didn't even start raining until 1 in the afternoon. We spent the next 2 days inside, watching movies, cooking, playing with the baby, totally ordinary. On Saturday, Sarah and I went to our usual gym class together. As we were leaving, she grabbed my arm and said, "We need to talk, in private." Her face was serious, too serious. I felt my stomach drop as we walked to my car and got in. She turned to me, took a breath and said, "On Wednesday, I saw your husband with a woman, they were making out, and your kid was in the car." I froze. My whole body went cold. But then my brain started flipping through the past 2 days like a photo album. Wednesday, I was home. My husband was home. We made pancakes. We watched Blue Eye. My son never left the living room. There was no way. "Are you sure it was this Wednesday?" I asked. "Yes," she said. "I'm sure." "What time?" "About 11 in the morning." "During the red alert?" "Yes," she said. "I saw them. He was kissing some gorgeous blonde Barbie-looking woman right in the parking lot of that strip mall near the school. Your son was in the back seat of his truck." She described everything in detail, the car, the woman's hair, the way they were holding each other. She sounded so convinced that for half a second I doubted myself. But I knew the truth. I was there. He was with me. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I just looked at her and said, "That's impossible. He was with me all Wednesday. We never left the house." Her face flickered, just for a moment. Then she doubled down. "Maybe you forgot. Maybe he slipped out while you were napping." "No," I said. "We had breakfast together at 8. We watched a movie at 10. He made lunch at noon. I have photos on my phone of us playing with the baby at 11:15. She went quiet. I asked her again slowly, "Are you 100% sure it was Wednesday?" She nodded. "Yes." I started to shake, not from anger, from confusion. Why would she lie? What did she gain? I told her I needed to go home and think. She said she was just looking out for me, that she had to tell me. I didn't respond. I drove home in a daze. When I walked in, my husband was on the floor building blocks with our son. He looked up and asked if I was okay. I told him what Sarah said. He didn't get angry. He just pulled out his phone and showed me his location history for Wednesday. Every pinpoint was our home. Then I checked my own, saying we had never left the house. That night I texted Sarah, "Explain why you made that up." She replied almost immediately, "I didn't make it up. I saw what I saw. Maybe you're in denial." I asked her to send me a photo of what she saw. She said she didn't take one. I asked her for the exact address of the strip mall. She said she didn't remember. I asked her if anyone else was with her. She said she was alone. I couldn't sleep that night. I kept replaying every conversation we'd had in the past month. Had she said anything weird? Had she acted distant? Nothing came to mind. She was the same Sarah, the one who sent me memes, who came over for wine nights, who babysat my son. Why would she try to blow up my marriage? The next day, I called her and said I wanted to meet face to face. We met in a coffee shop. I didn't yell. I just laid out the facts. I was home, my husband was home, the weather alert proved the roads were impassable by 11 a.m. There was no strip mall parking lot where she claimed, because that whole area was underwater by 10:30. She stared at her coffee. Then she said, "Maybe I got the day wrong, maybe it was another Wednesday." "You confirmed it 3 times, I said. "You described the woman, you described the car, you said my son was there." She didn't have an answer. She just shrugged and said, "I was trying to help." I paid for my coffee and left. I haven't spoken to her since, but I've been thinking about it nonstop. What was her endgame? Did she want me to leave my husband? Did she want me to be a single mom so she'd have more time to hang out with me? Or was it something darker? Jealousy, boredom, cruelty? I called my sister-in-law, who introduced us all those years ago. She said, "Sarah has always been a little competitive with you. Remember when she tried to get the same job as you? Remember when she started dating that guy you liked in high school? This is just the extreme version." I hadn't thought about those things in years. Maybe she was right. Maybe Sarah saw my happy marriage as something she wanted to tear down because she didn't have the same. But I still don't know for sure, and I don't know if I ever will. The only thing I do know is that I can't trust her anymore. I can't look at her without feeling sick. And I can't understand why someone I loved for 18 years would try to destroy everything I built. My coworker took video of me outside of work to prove I'm not disabled. I thought losing my best friend was the worst betrayal I'd ever feel. But then a coworker decided to stalk me with her phone camera, and I realized some people will go to any length to hurt you just to get ahead. I have a chronic pain condition. It's not visible most days. I explain it like this: most people live at a pain level of 1 or 2, maybe a 3 after a bad workout. I live at a 6 every single day. It's like constantly having a pulled muscle. Moving hurts, but you learn to move anyway. Some days I hit a 7 or 8, and on those days I use a cane. On blessed days I drop to a 4 and feel like I won the lottery. I work 2 jobs. My main one is full-time, and I have a part-time gig as an assistant coordinator. I genuinely like the work, and staying busy helps with my anxiety. Plus, the extra money goes straight to savings. When I was hired, I made sure to file all my disability paperwork with HR. I have a handicap placard for my car, a license plate marker, everything above board. I had just been moved to a new location closer to home. My new boss, Amy, was fantastic, understanding, supportive, a real human being. My coworker, Casey, was also an assistant coordinator, same position as me. We got along okay at first. Nothing special, but no drama. The thing is, Casey had been angling for a promotion for years. Everyone knew it. And I was pretty open that I didn't want one. Any promotion from my position meant full-time, and I already had a full-time job. I was just here to help out and pad my savings. But Casey didn't see it that way. She saw me as competition. Maybe she thought I was taking up a spot she deserved. Maybe she thought I was faking my disability to get special treatment. I don't know. What I do know is that she started watching me. The first sign was when she asked me in front of Amy, "Hey, don't you use a cane sometimes? I never see you use it at work." I shrugged and said, "I only use it on bad days. Today's a good day." She smiled too wide and said, "Oh, that's lucky." I didn't think much of it. People ask dumb questions about invisible disabilities all the time. Then came a Sunday, a really bad pain day. I woke up at a solid 7 and knew I needed my cane to get through the day. I had a few errands to run: groceries, picking up a prescription, returning something at Target. Nothing exciting. I used my handicap placard because parking close meant I could get in and out before the pain spiked. I was at the grocery store, leaning on my cane, trying to decide between 2 kinds of yogurt when I felt someone watching me. I turned and saw Casey's face disappear behind a shelf of canned goods. My stomach dropped. I thought maybe I imagined it. I finished my shopping, paid, and limped to my car. That's when I noticed the woman in the minivan 2 spots away. She was holding her phone up, pointed directly at me, not at her own reflection, not at a text. At me. I froze. She lowered the phone and started the engine. I memorized her license plate and drove home shaking. The next day at work, I went straight to Amy's office and told her everything. Amy's face went pale. She said, "I'll talk to HR. Do you have any proof?" I didn't. Not yet. Over the next week, I started noticing things. Casey would linger near my desk when I mentioned a doctor's appointment. She asked pointed questions about how I managed to work 2 jobs if I was so sick. She even commented, "It's amazing how you can walk without your cane when you're not at work." I started documenting everything. Every comment, every weird look, every time she mentioned my disability. I kept a notebook in my glove box. Then came the video. I found out through a friend who worked in a different department. She pulled me aside and whispered, "Hey, you know Casey made a video of you. She showed it to a few people. It's you walking into Target without your cane. She said it proves you're not really disabled." I felt like I'd been punched. I asked to see it. My friend hesitated but finally showed me her phone. There I was, walking across the Target parking lot on a good day, no cane, normal pace. The video was taken from inside a car. The date stamp was from 2 weeks ago, a Tuesday. I remembered that Tuesday. It was a pain level 4, one of those rare blessed days. I didn't need the cane. I didn't think anything of it, but Casey had followed me. She had waited in her car, recorded me, and then passed it around the office like evidence in a trial. I didn't scream. I went back to my desk, closed the door, and sat in the dark for 10 minutes. Then I called Amy. Amy was furious. She called HR immediately. An investigation started. Casey was pulled into a meeting. I had to give my statement, show my medical records, explain what chronic pain meant to people who had never felt it. Casey tried to defend herself. She said she just wanted to make sure the company wasn't being taken advantage of. She said she didn't think it was a big deal. She said, "I saw her walking fine, so I thought she was lying." HR took it seriously. Casey was written up, placed on probation, and forced to remove the video. But the damage was done. People looked at me differently. Some believed her. Some asked me, "So do you really need the cane?" One guy said, "Can I see your handicap placard? I want to make sure it's real." I started feeling unsafe at work, not just uncomfortable, unsafe. Casey had followed me. She had recorded me without consent. She had shared private medical information, and the worst part was the police laughed when I tried to file a report. I went to the station in my city, which is in Texas, by the way, and explained everything. The officer listened, then asked, "So she took a video of you in a public place?" Yes, but she was stalking me. She took a video in a public parking lot. That's not stalking, that's just being nosy. She shared it with coworkers to claim I'm faking a disability. He shrugged. Take it up with HR, that's a work issue, not a police issue. He wouldn't even take my statement. I sat in my car in the station parking lot and cried, not because I was sad, because I was exhausted. I've spent my whole life managing my pain, keeping it hidden, pushing through days when moving felt like breaking glass, and now someone had weaponized a good day against me, as if my disability only counts when I'm visibly suffering. Amy and HR eventually decided to move Casey to a different location. She got transferred, not fired, just moved. I still work in the same building. I still see her name on the schedule for the other site. She never apologized. She never admitted what she did was wrong. I'm still processing it. The betrayal, the invasion, the feeling of being watched. I started parking farther away from the entrance, even on bad days, because I don't want anyone to see me using my handicap spot and think I'm faking. I know that's stupid. I know I have a right to use my placard, but the shame lingers. The worst part is she never got what she wanted. She didn't get the promotion. They hired someone from outside instead, and I'm still here doing my job, limping through my days. But every time I see a phone pointed in my direction, my heart stops. Every time someone asks about my cane, I brace for an accusation. I thought my best friend's lie was the worst betrayal I'd ever face. Then a stranger with a phone showed me how deep the knife can go. Another story that stuck with me is about a man who learned that blood isn't always thicker than water. He was 13 when his father walked out for another woman. That was back in 2003. He had a little sister 2 years younger. Their mom was a wreck. The dad didn't even say goodbye properly, just packed a bag one Tuesday evening and moved in with Jane, the woman from his office. At first, he still came around. Every other weekend, sometimes a Wednesday dinner, he'd take them to the movies, buy them ice cream, act like nothing had changed. But it had. The kid could feel it. His dad stopped looking him in the eye, then Jane got pregnant, a son. The weekend visits started getting canceled. Sorry, buddy, your brother has a fever. Sorry, we have a family thing on Jane's side. Maybe next month. The kid was 14, old enough to understand that he wasn't the priority anymore. He stopped asking. His sister kept hoping. When he was 16, Jane got a job offer in another state, 10 hours away. The kid begged his dad not to go. He cried, he yelled, he said, "You're leaving me again." His dad just stood there with that sad, distant look and said, "I have to prioritize my family." The kid stared at him and said, "I'm your family too." But his dad didn't answer. He just hugged him stiffly and walked out the door. That was the last time the kid hugged his father. He went no contact right then. No calls, no texts, no replies to the emails. He blocked his dad's number. He deleted the photos. His sister stayed in touch, but the kid couldn't. He was done. High school graduation came. His dad sent a card with $100 inside. The kid threw it in the trash. College graduation, same thing. He never invited him. His mom was there, crying happy tears. His sister was there, holding a sign. The dad's card went straight to recycling. Years passed. The kid grew up, got a job, got married. He turned 33. His dad and Jane and their son moved back to the hometown 3 months ago, and the dad started trying again. Calls from unknown numbers. Facebook messages from accounts with no photos. A knock on his front door one Saturday morning. The kid didn't answer. He watched through the blinds as his dad stood there holding a cake, looking older and smaller. Then the half-brother started texting. The kid had never met him. He was just a baby when they left. Now he was 17 and sending messages like, "He really misses you. Can you just talk to him once?" The kid ignored them. Then the half-brother showed up at his workplace. He did in the parking lot. The kid saw him from the window, blonde hair, his father's jawline. He walked out the back door and called security. The sister got involved. She said, "Dad's really changed. Jane cheated on him twice. He's all alone now." The kid didn't care. He said, "He left us. He chose her. Now she left him. That's not my problem." His sister kept pushing. She wanted a family reunion. She wanted everyone to be okay. The kid told her, "You can have a relationship with him. I'm not stopping you, but I'm not pretending he didn't abandon me." Then came the phone call from his dad. He must have gotten the number from the sister. The kid picked up without thinking. "Son, please. I know I made mistakes. I was terrible. I just want a chance to explain." The kid said, "You don't get a chance. You had 17 years. You moved 10 hours away when I was still a kid. You chose them. Live with it." His dad started crying. "I was wrong. Jane manipulated me. She made me think you didn't need me. You didn't need me. That's the difference." The kid hung up. He blocked the number. That night, he found an old photo in a drawer, him and his dad at a baseball game, 2-0. His dad had his arm around him. He was smiling. The kid burned the photo in the backyard and didn't feel a thing. The half-brother kept texting. "You're being cruel. He's old and sick. He has nobody." The kid replied once. He chose nobody. Goodbye. Then he blocked that number too. He never went to his sister's baby shower because he knew his dad would be there. He skipped her wedding. He sent a gift and a card but stayed home. His sister stopped talking to him for months after that. She called him heartless. He said, "He's the one who left. I'm just protecting myself." Now his dad is still around town. The kid sees his car sometimes at the grocery store. He ducks down the next aisle. He doesn't want to see his face. He doesn't want to hear the apology. That's 20 years too late. He's done. He's been done since he was 16 years old and watched his father drive away to start a new life without him. Some people say forgiveness is the only way to heal. But the kid knows that sometimes healing means cutting the wound out completely. He's not angry anymore. He's just empty. And empty is safer than hoping again. Then there's the one about my best friend. The one I thought I knew since I was 11 years old. When my family immigrated to this country, I had nothing. No friends, no language skills, no clue how anything worked. My soon-to-be sister-in-law introduced me to Sarah and we clicked instantly. Same age, same sense of humor, same love for bad movies and late-night snacks. For 18 years, she was my person. She was at my wedding. She held my hand when I gave birth. She called me every Sunday just to check in. I thought we were the kind of friends who would grow old together, complaining about our husbands and swapping pictures of our kids. I was 29 when it happened. I was working in the office from 9 to 2, then I'd go home or grab coffee near my husband's workplace. Sometimes I had to travel for work. Last November I had a trip planned for a Wednesday, but Tuesday night a red alert came in, severe weather expected. The trip got canceled, so I stayed home with my 2-year-old. My husband left at 6 in the morning to check on his business and put up flood protection, but by 7:30 he was back. We made breakfast together. We played with our kid. It didn't even start raining until 1 in the afternoon. We literally didn't leave the house until Friday. On Saturday, I went to our usual gym class with Sarah. She seemed quiet, distracted. After class, she grabbed my arm and said we needed to talk in private. We went out to my car and she looked at me with this serious, pained expression. On Wednesday, I saw your husband with a woman. They were making out and your kid was in the car. I froze. My whole body went cold. For a second, I believed her. That's the scary part. For a split second, I pictured my husband kissing some blonde with our daughter in the backseat. My heart stopped. But then my brain caught up. Wednesday. I was home all day Wednesday. My husband was with me. We didn't go anywhere. I asked her, "Are you sure it was this Wednesday?" She nodded. "Yes, around 11 in the morning." During the red alert? "Yes." "Are you 100% sure?" She described it in detail. She said my husband was making out with a gorgeous blonde, a Barbie lookalike. She said my daughter was in the car seat in the back looking confused. She looked so sincere, so worried. I almost started crying. But I knew. I knew she was lying. I told her flat out, "That's impossible. I was home with him all day. We never left the house." Her face changed, just a flicker, but I saw it. She stumbled, said maybe she got the day wrong, but she insisted she saw them. I told her I'd talk to my husband and I walked away. When I got home, I told my husband everything. He looked like I'd punched him. Then he laughed, not a mean laugh, but a confused one. "Babe, you were literally next to me on the couch." We watched that documentary on whales. Remember? I remembered. I had the half-eaten bag of popcorn to prove it. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I just sat there trying to figure out why my best friend of 18 years would make up something so cruel. So I started digging. I talked to a few mutual friends. That's when I found out Sarah had been telling people for months that my marriage was in trouble. She'd told one friend I was thinking about divorce. She'd told another that my husband was controlling. She'd even hinted to my sister-in-law that I was unhappy. Nobody believed her, but they didn't tell me either. Then I found the messages. A group chat with some of her other friends. She'd written, "I just don't want her to be stuck in a bad marriage. She deserves to be free." And in another message, if she were single, we could travel together. She's always held back by him. That was when everything clicked. Sarah wanted me to leave my husband, not because she cared about me, because she wanted a travel buddy. She wanted me to be a single mom struggling so I'd have time for her. She thought if she planted the seed of doubt, I'd start a fight, maybe even file for divorce. She didn't count on me actually checking my own memory. I called her the next day. I didn't yell. I just asked, "What did you think would happen?" "That I'd leave my husband and move in with you." She started crying. She said she was sorry, that she didn't mean it, that she was jealous of my family. She said she felt lonely and wanted more of my time. She said she didn't think I'd actually check. I said, "You wanted to destroy my family so you'd have a friend." She denied that. She said she just wanted to help me see the truth. But there was no truth. It was a lie from start to finish. I haven't spoken to her since. I blocked her number, her social media, everything. I told our mutual friends what happened. Some believed me, some didn't. I lost a few people in the fallout, but I also realized how many of them had been covering for her for years. The worst part is she never apologized properly. She sent one text that said, "I'm sorry you took it that way," not "I'm sorry I lied," not "I'm sorry I tried to ruin your life," just a half-assed apology with a side of blame. I still think about it sometimes. 18 years of friendship down the drain because she wanted someone to go on vacation with. She threw away everything for a trip to Cancun. I mean, that's what she said in one of those messages. She wanted to go to Cancun in the spring and I was always busy with family stuff. So she decided to make me not busy. I don't miss her anymore. I miss who I thought she was. That version of Sarah never existed. The real one was just a woman who saw me as a tool for her own happiness. And when I stopped being useful, she tried to break me. Then there's the coworker thing. The one that made me realize some people will go to any lengths to tear you down, even if you've never done a thing to them. I'm 32, I have chronic pain. Not the kind you see on TV where someone's in a wheelchair or using crutches all the time. The kind where every day feels like I've pulled a muscle in my back and my knees are grinding against bone. On a good day, I'm at a 4 on the pain scale. On a bad day, I'm at an 8. I own canes, 2 of them, one black, one wooden, but I only use them when I'm at a 7 or above. I have a handicap placard on my rearview mirror and a license plate marker that says I'm legally disabled. I've filed all the paperwork with my job so they know I might need accommodations. I don't ask for much. Just a chair that doesn't kill my spine and the option to sit down when I need to. I work 2 jobs to pay the bills. My main job is full-time, but I also do assistant coordinator work at a different company to pad my savings and keep my mind busy. Being busy helps with my anxiety. About a year ago, I was moved to a new location closer to home. I loved my new team. My boss, Amy, was great, but there was this colleague named Casey. We were both assistant coordinators, same position. Casey wanted a promotion badly, everyone knew it. I didn't. Any promotion would make the job full-time, and I already had a full-time job. I just wanted to do my hours, go home, and not think about it. Casey saw me as a threat anyway. I didn't realize it at first. One Sunday, I was having a bad pain day. I was at a 7, maybe a 7.5. I used my cane to get around. I had my handicap placard hanging in the car. I parked in a disabled spot at a grocery store near my house. I hobbled in, bought some Advil and frozen vegetables, hobbled out. It was just a normal errand. I didn't think anything of it. The next day at work, Casey pulled me aside. She had this smug look on her face like she'd caught me doing something wrong. She said, "I saw you yesterday at the grocery store. You were walking just fine, no cane, no limp. I have video proof." I stared at her. "What are you talking about?" She pulled out her phone and showed me a video. It was me walking from my car to the store entrance. But it was a good day. Actually, it was the day before my bad day. I'd been at a 4, no cane needed. I looked fine. I was carrying my shopping bag, moving at a normal pace. Casey had filmed me from her car, zoomed in. She said, "So you're not really disabled. You just fake it for the placard. I'm going to report you to HR." I felt my face go hot. I said, "That was a good day. I have chronic pain. It fluctuates. You can't film me without my consent. That's an invasion of privacy." She smirked. "It's a public place. I have every right to film, and I have proof that you're not actually disabled. You're just faking for attention." I walked away. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I went straight to my boss, Amy. I told her everything. Amy looked like she'd been hit in the face. She said she did what? I showed her the video Casey had sent me. She'd texted it to me afterward like a trophy. Amy said, "This is completely inappropriate. I'll handle it." But Amy didn't handle it. She went to HR, and HR said they needed to investigate. They interviewed me, they interviewed Casey, they interviewed other coworkers. Casey told them I was a fraud. She said I used my disability as an excuse to leave early and get special treatment. She even said she'd seen me jogging in the park, which was a lie. I haven't jogged in years. The investigation dragged on for weeks. During that time, Casey started following me. She'd show up at my gym, at my favorite coffee shop, at the park where I walked my dog. She'd take more videos. She sent them to HR. One showed me carrying groceries, no cane. Another showed me laughing with a friend, no sign of pain. She captioned them, "Look how disabled she is." I filed a police report for stalking. The officers looked at the videos and said it wasn't enough. They said she wasn't threatening me. They said it was a workplace issue, not a criminal one. I could feel them dismissing me. I'm black, I'm disabled, and I'm in Texas. I knew the odds weren't in my favor. The workplace investigation finally ended. HR cleared me. They said Casey's behavior was unprofessional and that she'd violated my privacy. They gave her a written warning, but they didn't fire her. They said she was a valuable employee and that they wanted to give her a chance to improve. Casey didn't improve. She started spreading rumors around the office that I had faked my medical records. She told people I was playing the system. A few people stopped talking to me. One guy said, "You know, if you're really in pain, you should just take some medicine and stop complaining." I didn't say anything, I just walked away. The breaking point came 2 months later. I was at a doctor's appointment, a scheduled checkup for my chronic pain. I took the day off work. Casey found out. She called the office and said I was lying. She told Amy that I was probably at the mall. She texted me a photo of my car parked outside the medical building, taken from across the street. "Have fun faking," she wrote. I broke down. I went to Amy's office and cried. I said, "I can't do this. She's stalking me. She's destroying my reputation. I'm not safe here." Amy looked me in the eye. She said, "I know, I've been documenting everything. I'm taking it to legal." Amy went over HR's head. She filed a complaint with the company's legal department. She included all the videos, all the texts, all the witness statements. Legal launched a separate investigation. It took another month. Finally, Casey was fired, not just fired, escorted out of the building. She tried to argue that she was a whistleblower exposing fraud. Legal told her she was a stalker. After she was gone, I felt a mix of relief and exhaustion. I still see her sometimes around town. She gives me dirty looks. She's posted passive-aggressive things on social media about fake disabled people. I don't engage, I just keep walking, but the paranoia stuck. I started looking over my shoulder at the grocery store. I stopped using my cane in public unless I absolutely had to. I didn't want anyone filming me again. My therapist said that's a trauma response. I know she's right, but knowing doesn't make it easier. The worst part is Casey never apologized, not a single word. In her exit interview, she said I was the reason workplaces are afraid to hold people accountable. She said I was weaponizing my race and disability. She said she was the real victim. I don't know if that's true. I don't know if she really believes that. All I know is that she took something already painful, my body, my daily struggle, and turned it into a weapon against me. And now I have to live with that fear forever. I still have the videos saved on my phone just in case. I don't watch them. But I keep them, a reminder that not everyone who smiles at you wants the best for you. Some people will lie to your face, some will film you from a car, and some will try to take everything you have just because they want what you don't even care about. I thought I was overreacting when I first went to HR. I thought maybe I was being dramatic, but that was when everything changed. Casey didn't just want my job, she wanted me gone, and she would have done anything to make that happen. I thought that was the worst betrayal I'd ever seen. Then I read about what happened to another woman and it made me rethink everything. Her name was Mia, and she was 29 just like me. She met her best friend Sarah when she was 11, right after her family moved to a new country. Her sister introduced them. They grew up together, became inseparable. Sarah was at her wedding. Sarah was there when her daughter was born. They texted every day, shared everything, but Sarah started to change. It was subtle at first. She'd make comments about Mia's husband, little jokes about how he was too perfect. Mia brushed it off. Then came the weather alert. A big storm hit their area, red alert, flash flooding. Mia was supposed to travel for work that Wednesday, but the trip was canceled. She stayed home with her 2-year-old. Her husband went out early to secure his business, but by 7:30 he was back making breakfast. They spent the whole day together, the three of them, didn't leave the house until Friday. Saturday morning, Mia went to their shared gym class. After class, Sarah pulled her aside, said they needed to talk. They sat in Mia's car in the parking lot. Sarah looked serious, almost excited. She said, "On Wednesday, I saw your husband with a woman. They were making out in his car. Your daughter was in the back seat." Mia felt her heart stop. She couldn't breathe, but then her brain started working. Wednesday, the day she was home with her husband, the day they never left the house, she asked Sarah, "Are you sure it was Wednesday?" Sarah said yes, 100%. Asked what time, Sarah said around 11 in the morning. Mia asked if it was during the red alert, the flooding. Sarah said yes. She even described the woman, a gorgeous blonde Barbie doll type. Mia asked a third time, "You're absolutely sure it was this Wednesday?" Sarah nodded, looking sympathetic. "I'm so sorry, sweetie, I knew you had to know." Mia didn't scream, she didn't cry, she said, "I was home all day Wednesday, so was my husband, we didn't leave, my daughter was with us, the red alert kept us inside." Sarah's face went pale, she stammered, maybe it was another day, but she'd already confirmed 3 times. Mia pulled out her phone and showed her the text messages she'd sent to Sarah that Wednesday, pictures of her daughter playing, a video of her husband making pancakes. Time-stamped. Sarah stared at the screen, she was silent. Mia asked, "Why would you lie about this? What do you get out of it?" Sarah started crying. She said she must have misremembered, said she saw a car that looked like theirs, said she was just trying to protect Mia. Mia didn't buy it, she knew Sarah was jealous. Sarah had always wanted what Mia had, a stable marriage, a child, a nice home. Sarah had a string of bad relationships, she was lonely, but this was beyond jealousy. This was an attempt to destroy Mia's life. Mia went home and told her husband. He was furious. He wanted to confront Sarah. Mia asked him to wait. She dug deeper, she asked some mutual friends if Sarah had ever said anything. One friend admitted Sarah had complained that Mia didn't have time for her anymore, that she was too focused on her family. Sarah had even said if she were a single mom, she'd have more time for me. That was the motive. Sarah wanted Mia alone, vulnerable, so they could go back to being the friends they were before marriage and kids. She didn't care if she destroyed Mia's marriage to get it. Mia cut Sarah off completely. Blocked her number, unfriended her on everything, stopped going to their shared gym. It hurt. 11 years of friendship gone because Sarah couldn't stand seeing Mia happy. Some people will lie to your face, film you from a parking lot, even try to frame your husband, and they'll never apologize. They'll just say they were looking out for you. I know that feeling. I felt it when I read about another story, a much older one, about a dad who chose his new family and never looked back. His name was Luke. He was my father. I was 13 when he had an affair and moved in with his mistress, Jane. At first, he still tried to be a good dad. My sister and I visited every weekend. I didn't like Jane, but I tolerated her. Then Jane got pregnant, they had a son. The visits got less frequent. He missed my recitals, my sister's competitions, always because of his son. When I was 16, Jane got a job offer 10 hours away. My sister and I begged him not to leave. He said, "I need to prioritize my family." And he meant his new family. He moved away, that was it. I went no contact. I refused his calls, his invitations. I didn't invite him to my high school graduation, my college graduation, my wedding. He tried to reach out through my sister, through his parents. I ignored every single attempt. I'm 33 now, 20 years of silence. He moved back to our hometown 3 months ago, retired, divorced from Jane. Turns out Jane had affairs too, 2 of them. One with her best friend's husband, classic karma. Now my father wants to reconcile. He's been sending me messages, showing up at my door, leaving voicemails. He even had my half-brother, the golden child he chose, contact me. The same half-brother who got all his attention while I was invisible. I told him no. I said, "You made your choice. You said you had to prioritize your family. That family didn't include me. You don't get to come back now that your perfect life fell apart." He cried. He said he was young and stupid. He said he always loved me. I said, "Love is action. You acted like I was a burden. Now live with the consequences." My sister thinks I should give him a chance. She stayed in contact. She says he's changed, but I don't care. I have my own family now, a husband who never leaves, a daughter who will never know that pain. Some doors stay closed forever. And that's okay. I started getting messages from my half-brother, the son my dad chose over me. He was 22 now, all grown up, and he wrote these long paragraphs about how our father was heartbroken, how he regretted everything, how I was being cruel. I didn't answer, but he kept sending them. Then he started calling from different numbers. I blocked each one. He left voicemails saying things like, "He's your dad, he's old now, you'll regret this when he's dead." I almost laughed. Regret? I regretted the 13 years I wasted hoping he'd show up. I regretted every recital where I scanned the audience for his face and saw nothing. I regretted every birthday card I wrote that he never answered. There was no room left for regret. My sister called me after the half-brother's first message. She said, "Look, I know you're angry, but Dad has changed. Jane cheated on him twice, did you know that? The second time was with her best friend's husband. He walked in on them. He's been living alone for a year. He's been going to therapy. He cries all the time." I said good, he should cry, he made his bed. She got quiet, then she said, "He was at my baby shower last weekend, he asked about you. He said he just wants to see your face one more time." I told her, "He saw my face at my college graduation, he wasn't there. He saw my face at my wedding, he wasn't there. He saw my face when I gave birth to my daughter, he wasn't there. He doesn't get to see it now." She hung up. We didn't talk for 2 weeks after that, then came the gifts. A package appeared on my doorstep one morning. It was a small velvet box. Inside, a gold locket with a picture of me when I was 5, the last photo we took together as a family before he left. I threw it in the trash. Another package arrived a week later, a handwritten letter, 10 pages long. I didn't even open it. I put it straight into the shredder. He must have figured out where I lived because I started seeing his car parked down the street. Not every day, but sometimes. He'd sit there, engine off, just staring at my house. I called the police once. They said they couldn't do anything unless he was threatening me. I bought a Ring camera. The footage showed him getting out of the car once, walking halfway up my driveway, then stopping, turning around, and driving away. I thought that was the worst of it. Then I woke up one morning to find my car's tires slashed, all 4 of them. The security camera had been pointed away. I'd adjusted it the night before to check the mailbox. Coincidence? Maybe, but I knew it was him or someone he sent. I didn't have proof, so I couldn't press charges. I just filed a police report and paid for new tires out of pocket. My husband wanted to confront him. I said no. I said he wants a reaction. He wants to be part of our lives again. If we give him any attention, he'll never leave. So we stayed silent. We started parking the car in the garage. We kept the curtains closed. We told our daughter not to answer the door. Then came the wedding. My sister's wedding, which I had already decided not to attend because Dad would be there. She called me crying, begging me to come. She said, "He's been through so much. He promised he wouldn't make a scene. Please, I need my sister." I told her I loved her, but I wasn't going. She got married anyway. That night, she sent me a video. In it, my father is standing at the reception, drunk, talking to a group of relatives. He's saying, "I just want my daughter back, my real daughter, the one I abandoned. I was young and stupid and I paid for it, but I've changed. I've been alone for years. That's punishment enough." Half the relatives were nodding sympathetically. The other half looked uncomfortable. My sister said that later someone's car had its windows smashed. No one saw who did it, but I knew the pattern. A week after the wedding, I got a final message from my half-brother. He said, "Dad is really sick now. He has high blood pressure and heart issues. He's in the hospital. He keeps asking for you. If you don't come now, you'll regret it forever." I didn't go. I didn't even reply. That was 3 months ago. My father is still alive as far as I know. He still sends me messages through my sister. He still parks down the street sometimes, though less often now. The half-brother stopped contacting me after I blocked his number for the 10th time. My sister is mad at me. She says I'm cold. She says I need to forgive. But here's the thing. Forgiveness requires the other person to be sorry for the right reasons. He's not sorry for leaving me. He's sorry that his other family fell apart. He's sorry that he's lonely. He's sorry that he's facing his own mortality and wants to clear his conscience. That's not remorse, that's self-interest, and I don't owe him a damn thing. I have my own family now, a husband who never leaves, a daughter who will never know what it feels like to be second place. I spend my time on people who choose me every day, not on people who only want me when their plan A fails. Some people will lie to your face, some will film you from a parking lot. Some will slash your tires and cry on your sister's shoulder, and some will wait until they're old and sick to pretend they care. But none of them get to walk back through that door. The door closed when I was 13. It's been sealed for 20 years, and I'm not the one holding the lock. That's what I keep thinking every time I see a stranger's car slow down on my street. It's what I tell myself when my sister sends another message saying he's had a bad week. I remind myself that love is action, not words, and my father's actions have spoken louder than anything he could write in a 10-page letter. I don't know if there's a happy ending here. Maybe there isn't one for him, but for me there is. I wake up every morning in a house full of people who love me. I eat breakfast with my daughter. I kiss my husband goodbye. I go to work. I come home. I live my life without looking over my shoulder for a father who was never there, and that's enough. That's more than he ever gave me, but not every betrayal comes from family. Sometimes it's the friend you've known since childhood, the one who was at your wedding, the one who held your hand when you miscarried, the one who swore she'd always have your back. That betrayal cuts just as deep. I met Sarah when I was 11. My family had just moved to a new country and my soon-to-be sister-in-law introduced us. Sarah was 11 too, same age, same school. We became inseparable. Through middle school, high school, college, we were that pair. People called us sisters. I trusted her with everything, my passwords, my fears, my marriage. I met my husband when we were 22. He was a friend of a friend. Sarah was happy for me, or so I thought. She was my maid of honor. She helped plan the bachelorette party. She cried at the wedding. 4 years later, we had a 2-year-old daughter. I thought we were solid. I work in an office from 9 to 2 with a 30-minute break. Sometimes I walk 5 minutes to my husband's office and have second breakfast with him. Sometimes I go to a cafe. Sometimes I travel for work. Sarah and I talk almost every day. She knows my schedule. She knows when I'm out of town. That's why what she did still makes me sick. Last Wednesday, I was supposed to travel for work, but Tuesday night, there was a red alert about weather, flooding expected all day Wednesday. My work trip was canceled. I stayed home with my daughter. My husband left at 6 in the morning to flood-proof his business, but he was back by 7:30 making breakfast. It didn't even start raining until 1 in the afternoon. We stayed inside all day watching movies, playing on the floor. I took a picture of him flipping pancakes and sent it to my mom. At 3, Sarah texted, "Are you home? It's flooding up there." I texted back, "Home safe." That was it. Saturday, we went to the same gym class. Afterward, she said she needed to talk in private. We went to my car. She looked serious, almost scared. She said, "I saw your husband on Wednesday. He was with a woman. They were making out in a car. Your kid was in the back seat." I froze, my heart stopped. For a second, I couldn't breathe, but then I remembered. Wednesday, I was home, my husband was home, we were together the entire day. I asked her, "Are you sure it was this Wednesday?" She said yes 3 times. I asked what time. She said about 11 in the morning. I asked if it was during the red alert. She said yes. I didn't scream, I just said, "That's weird because I was home with him all day. He made pancakes. I have a photo." Her face went white. She started stammering. Maybe it was a different day. Maybe it was the week before. I said, "You said this Wednesday. You confirmed it 3 times. She started crying. She said, "I'm just looking out for you. I saw something. I thought I was helping." I pulled out my phone and showed her the picture of my husband making pancakes at 11 on Wednesday. She looked at it and said, "That could be any day." I said, "The metadata says Wednesday, but you wouldn't believe me anyway." "Why are you doing this?" She didn't answer. She just cried harder. Then she said, "You've been distant lately. I just wanted to spend more time with you. I thought if you were single, we could travel together like we used to." I couldn't believe it. She had tried to destroy my marriage because she wanted a travel buddy. I told her, "We're done. Don't call me. Don't text me. If you come near my house, I'll call the police." She tried to apologize for weeks. She left gifts on my porch. She sent messages through mutual friends. She even showed up at my husband's office crying, saying she was sorry. He told her to leave. I blocked her on everything. That was 3 months ago. I still have moments where I think about the 11-year-old girl I met on the playground. But that girl is gone. The woman who tried to frame my husband for cheating, who wanted me to divorce him so she could have a vacation partner, that's who she is now. Some people will lie to your face. Some will film you from a parking lot. Some will slash your tires and cry on your sister's shoulder. And some will wait 20 years, then stab you in the back with a smile. The worst part is I still don't know why she hated my marriage that much. Maybe she was jealous, maybe she was lonely, maybe she just wanted control. But whatever it was, it cost her the only friend who ever really knew her. I thought that was the end of the worst betrayals. Then I started working with Casey. I have chronic pain. That's the medical term, chronic pain, sometimes called CP, but not the kind people think of. I explain it like this: if normal people walk around at a pain level of 1 or 2, I'm at a 6 every day. Like a pulled muscle that never heals. Some days it's a 7 or 8, and those days I use a cane. I have a handicapped placard on my car. I've filed all the paperwork with my job. They know I might need accommodations. I work 2 jobs. My main one is full-time. My second is part-time at a business that recently expanded. I was transferred to a new location closer to my home. My boss, Amy, is great, but my coworker, Casey, she wanted the promotion I didn't even want. I told everyone I had no interest in full-time. I already have a full-time job. I do this part-time for extra savings and because it keeps me busy, which helps with anxiety. But Casey didn't believe me. She thought I was lying, that I was angling for her job. One day I had a bad pain day, a 7. I used my cane. I parked in the handicapped spot. Casey saw me hobble into the building. She didn't say anything. But the next week I had a good day, a 4 maybe. I didn't use the cane. I walked normally from my car to the entrance. And Casey was in her car in the parking lot filming me. She didn't hide it. She posted the video on her social media with the caption, "So much for being disabled, caught in the act." The video made its way to HR. But first it made its way to my boss, Amy, who called me into her office. I sat down and she showed me the video on her phone. I felt like I'd been punched. "That was a good day," I said. "I don't use my cane on good days, but I'm still in pain. That's how chronic pain works." Amy nodded. She said, "I believe you, but we have to address this. Casey violated company policy by recording you on work property, and this is harassment. Do you want to file a formal complaint?" I did. HR launched an investigation. They interviewed both of us. I provided my medical documents, my placard registration, my accommodation paperwork. Casey said she was just proving a point. She said I was a fraud, that I was taking advantage of a system meant for really disabled people. The investigation took 2 weeks. They fired Casey. I thought it was over. Then the stalking started. She started parking across the street from my house, not every day, but often. She'd sit there watching. I called the police. They said she wasn't threatening me, so they couldn't do anything. I installed cameras. I started varying my routes. I stopped going out alone after dark. One night, my car alarm went off at 2 in the morning. I ran outside. The back window was smashed. My registration and insurance papers were stolen. The camera caught a figure in a hoodie, but I couldn't make out the face. I knew it was her. I filed a police report, but they said there wasn't enough evidence. The next week, I found a note under my windshield wiper. "You think you're so special? I'll prove you're a fraud. Everyone will know." I called Amy. She told me to get a restraining order. I tried, but the judge said I needed proof of direct threats. The note wasn't signed. The video was deleted. Casey wasn't charged. But then last month, she made a mistake. She used her own credit card to buy a burner phone and sent me threatening texts from it. The number was traced back to her. Police arrested her for harassment and stalking. She's out on bail now, awaiting trial. I still feel unsafe. I check my rearview mirror constantly. I park in the garage. I have pepper spray in my purse. But I also have a job that supports me, a boss who believed me, and a legal case that's moving forward. Some people will lie to your face. Some will film you from a parking lot. Some will slash your tires and cry on your sister's shoulder. And some will wait until they're old and sick to pretend they care. But none of them get to walk back through that door. The door closed when I was 13. It's been sealed for 20 years, and I'm not the one holding the lock. That's what I keep thinking every time I see a stranger's car slow down on my street. It's what I tell myself when my sister sends another message saying he's had a bad week. I remind myself that love is action, not words, and my father's actions have spoken louder than anything he could write in a 10-page letter. I don't know if there's a happy ending here. Maybe there isn't one for him. But for me, there is. I wake up every morning in a house full of people who love me. I eat breakfast with my daughter. I kiss my husband goodbye. I go to work. I come home. I live my life without looking over my shoulder for a father who was never there. And that's enough. That's more than he ever gave me.